All right, Aquarius, so this is something that you can't avoid anymore. There is going to be a decision that you're going to have to make or a path to take here, but there's no reason to fear. But fear may be stopping you from making a choice right now on doing something critical. Now, no need to fear. Remember how powerful you are and fork in the road. Now, no need to fear is saying you may be afraid out of habit, not out of reason, feeling intimidated without need. Remember how many reasons you have to feel confident. It says, go forward with courage. You are more powerful than you are feeling, and others cannot harm you. You are so strong. But fork in the road is talking about a decision that you're going to have to make here. To me, it feels like a really critical one. And the thing is, with fear, it would be that you're fearing that you're making the wrong choice, but you're not. That's kind of what this card is saying. It says every choice has a consequence. You've arrived at a fork in the road and are being asked to come to a decision. Will you further your dreams by choosing left or by choosing right? Will you take the road less traveled or the one well worn by others who have come before you? This is your choice and yours alone to make. Circumstances and other people will not make it for you. It says be present and do not avoid this junction, for it is an important crossroads. But it says take heart, as no matter which path you choose, you will have a rich and meaningful experience. But basically, there is a choice that you're going to have to make. You can't avoid it anymore, and you can't allow fear to stop you. All right, Aquarius, here is your overall. The Nine of Cups. What do you want? What do you really want? But happiness, emotional fulfillment, having wishes fulfilled. Right? But like I've always said with the Nine of Cups, your happiness is your responsibility. You can't put your happiness in the hands of others, but you also have to be realistic about what is going to make you happy. Now, for some of you, with this being the overall, it's going to be about you needing to be happy with what you have around you, But we'll see here. Now, in the past, the Eight of Pentacles. So, basically just between the two here with the Eight of Pentacles, it's like you've had to work really hard to get the things that you've wanted, And for a lot of you, you're still doing really hard work. But, ultimately here, it's about you being happy with what you're working toward. In the present, the Page of Wands. Perfect. Perfect. And this may be where, the choice starts to come in, and this may be through work. So with the Page of Wands being in the present moment, we're talking about really exciting news, being happy, being enthusiastic, being ready to take a new path here. With the Page of Wands, it does talk about a lack of experience, but you kind of learn along the way, but it is about good news coming through, something that you've been wanting to hear. And it does open up a new opportunity, but you have to take the path, right? And, this one is going to be one of the ones that is going to continuously show up. I swear to God, I'm seeing this with almost everybody. The Nine of Wands being in future conditions. When it comes to what you're wanting, I think that there are some things that you're not willing to budge on. I don't think that you're trying to block out your own happiness here, but I also feel like for a lot of you, if you're being offered an opportunity here with the Page of Wands or getting that communication that you want to hear, it's like you're being careful about what you choose to allow in, because you've had to work really hard to get to where you're at. And you're certainly not going to let something come through and disrupt that. And I'm telling you, this is not the first time I've seen this. A lot of people are feeling this way right now, feeling like they need to protect themselves. But I don't feel bad about it. Like, I feel like it's the appropriate response. But, is it an unnecessary fear, though? Going back to the Oracle cards. Oh, look at it. Your best path to follow, the Ace of Cups. So what I talk about when aces show up here in this position, this is like the universe going, here, take this. It's for you, right? With the Ace of Cups, you're talking about absolutely a new beginning that can make you really, really happy and make you feel like you finally have everything that you need. Like it's that one cup that's going to get you to the 10. Do you really want it though? But with the Ace of Cups, we could be talking about new love. It could be new work opportunity here, but it's about what is going to make you happy, what is going to make you feel emotionally fulfilled, especially with that Nine of Cups. We could be talking about new connection to spirit, right? Having an opportunity that opens you up spiritually. But it's good. It's good, right? And it's right there. Like, it's right there for you. And you've worked really hard to get this, and damn it, you deserve it. In your environment, the Hermit. All right. So with that being connected to the Page of Wands, for a lot of you, you're kind of in hermit mode, right? Like, you've busted your ass to get to where you want, right? You have a new opportunity coming through, but is it something that you want to allow into your life? With the Hermit being in your environment, it's not necessarily that, you know, you are isolating yourself or that you feel like you need to separate yourself from something. I think that, you know, for a lot of you, it's really looking at this and going, well, you know, is this really what's going to bring me what I've been wanting? Do I really want to do this? And I think that you're very hesitant about it looking at the Nine of Wands. But, you know, with the Hermit, right? And I've always said this with the Hermit. The star is in his lantern, you know? And we're talking about you with the star, right? What was the initial goal? Why did you do everything 1 through 9? What have you learned from that? You know, and going back to the past, you've learned that you've had to bust your ass for everything that you wanted. But this may be coming like really easy. And that may be where the question is, like, yeah, this doesn't normally happen, you know? But I also feel like, you know, don't shut yourself out though, you know, because I look at that Page of Wands with the Ace of Cups being there and feel like this is a really good thing, a really good opportunity. Okay, your hopes and your fears. And, you know, it would make sense if you've experienced this before, people taking advantage of you. So the fear there would be that, you know, somebody is trying to get something out of you, but is it an unnecessary fear? You know, but that may be why you're the Nine of Wands in future conditions. I don't know if I want to accept this because I've been taken advantage of before, you know, having to deal with people being sketchy, sneaky, low down, you know, all that fucked up shit. You know, and you don't want to deal with that. You don't want to deal with, you know, a situation where intentions are not clear. You know, because clearly you've been through that before, and that's playing a part in whether or not you make the choice to allow a new opportunity to come into you. But, you know, again, is it what you really want? You know, or is this coming a little bit too easy? And then coming out the Nine of Pentacles, I'm fine on my own. I swear to God, that's kind of where you're at. Like, I'm used to being independent and doing things independently. You know, so it may be that you don't want to be involved in a situation with other people. But with the Nine of Pentacles and the Eight of Pentacles, right? Like, you know what you need to do to create abundance in your life, to be financially secure and set. You know, so I really do think that with the Nine of Cups, it's almost like you're looking at the Ace of Cups and going, you know what? I already have everything I need. I'm good. You know? But I don't see this as a bad thing. Like, I don't see that as a bad thing. But you have to do what you feel like is right for you. And the thing is no matter what you choose to do, you're fine. You're fine. You know? But it's going to be a difficult choice. Right? And it makes sense that fork in the road is there, but you need to be careful about unnecessary fears. But again, it says that, you know, it's not without reason. And there it is right there. You know, it may not be easy to just kind of say, you know what? No, I don't need this. I'm not going to allow this in. Because it could be something really good, you know? But I look at the Nine of Pentacles and think you're good on your own. Like, maybe it's not something you want to be involved with, you know? So now, especially if you've had to deal with the Seven of Swords, this makes sense to me looking at justice coming out here. But then it's also you, kind of questioning here what is right, what is fair, what is balanced for you, and making that final choice, right? With the Knight of Swords, looking at the Eight of Pentacles, if you had to bust your ass for, all the good things that you have in your life, it would make sense that this is the way that you had to do it. Being very blunt, very direct, not taking any shit. That's kind of how I see this. And it's not that, you're being the Queen of Swords, right? It's more about you acting in a way that you felt was right for you to, get the things that were going to make you happy. But have you been acting too quickly on certain things? And I'm just saying here, because I don't feel anything bad around that Ace of Cups. That's fine if you feel like it's something that you don't need, but don't be too harsh and too quick to judge it based on the fact that you've had to work so hard to get everything that you wanted, right? Now, the other thing though too is there's something that you need to say for sure. But I feel like that's directly related to, where you have been wronged before, right? And fearing that that's exactly what's going to happen again. Now, with the Page of Pentacles, looking at the Page of Wands, absolutely, we're talking about getting something started here, right? Working really hard to start something new. But the thing is you're already at the nines. They're all over the place here. Is it something that you really want to do again? Do you really want to put the time and effort into starting something new when you're already in a place of being, set and happy and having everything that you feel like you need? Now, this could definitely be about, again, the communication coming through and possibly somebody wanting to start over with you. And I say that because of the Seven of Swords, but we're talking about somebody who did something and you fearing that that's what's going to happen again. And then with justice, we could be talking about, well, those things need to be corrected first before I can even think about allowing you back into my space. Now, again, for some of you, it's just looking at an opportunity going, that's great, but is it really what's going to make things fair and balanced for me? For some of you, absolutely, it could be about, a legal situation here. And you speaking the harsh, direct truth, it gets the wheels in motion and things work out in your favor. Because with the Nine of Pentacles, right, like you're still good. Now, for some of you, yeah, it could be about divorce and somebody trying to come back through. It just depends on the situation. But I really feel like with justice here, it's because of what you've experienced and what you're fearing. Not wanting to be taken advantage of, wanting to make sure that things are fair and balanced. And maybe you don't need this, But either way, you're going to have to be really clear about, what are unnecessary fears as far as making a choice on whether or not to accept a new offer or a new beginning here that could potentially bring you to that Ten of Cups. But you're going to have to make a choice. But I feel like more so than anything, a lot of you are going to make the choice to say, you know what, I don't need this. Based on my past experiences and based on what I've been through, I don't think that this is something that I want to allow in. I'm good on my own. With expansion, you're talking about expanding your life and your awareness. Maybe needing to kind of expand your experience though too. And I almost feel like with surrender, it's saying, don't give in to the fear, but also, kind of needing to surrender to the idea that maybe not all opportunities are going to end up bad, but surrendering to freedom, right? So if you're going to expand your life, you have to be able to have freedom to do what it is that you want to do, And again, if we're talking about a business opportunity here, it's basically saying that you want to be independent. You want to do things independently. But there's a part of you that kind of needs to surrender to this idea that maybe expanding is going to bring you more freedom, right? I'm just saying. But it's up to you, you know? And it's up to you based on your wisdom and your experience and what you know to be right for you. That one right there. And then passion and pleasure. I'm seeing this one a lot. So there's going to be a breakthrough for you that's going to allow you to experience passion and pleasure and savor your life and enjoy your life, right? And whatever that breakthrough is, either way, Aquarius, no matter what you choose to do or what you choose to allow into your life, whether we're talking about work opportunities, love, whatever the case is, you're going to be fine. You're fine. Like, you look good, you know. But I wouldn't look past an opportunity that could bring you, you know, something that could be really, really fulfilling for you. You know what I'm saying? You may feel like you have everything that you need right now, but maybe there's something else that could possibly give you more, right? But like I said, it's totally up to you. And no matter what you choose to do, there's going to be a breakthrough here. There's going to be more freedom for you to enjoy your life.